Hey there, today we're going to be discussing my top pick 14 gods that will fight in Ragnarok against the humans, against the list I made with my previous video. If you haven't seen it, consider checking it out if you like this video. Alright, let's continue. Alright, yeah, this is the 14 gods I would pick to fight in Ragnarok. And my rules for this is I am not picking any gods that are already participating in Ragnarok or the spin-off Ragnarok Apocalypse, just to be a little bit different. And honestly, if I could, I'd be using a ton of them. I mean, the Greek gods, I mean, come on, right? Who wouldn't use Zeus, Poseidon, Hercules? Man, who wouldn't use them? You know what I mean? Poseidon, I mean, come on, right? I mean, Thor, Odin. I mean, you could easily reuse them. I decided just to go different because, again, yeah. But I will be using characters that are shown, but that are not participating in the tournament itself. All right. And as you saw in the thumbnail, I am going to be using my first pick right here is Ares. Okay, Ares in the manga, he's strong. He's like stronger than almost like 99% of humans. He's a joke, to like everyone else. And there's again, it's for comedic effect and everything. He's the god of war, but he's a bit of a joke. Again, but in this version, I do like the personality of that Ares. I would keep that, but make it to more he's a higher tier of a fighter. Again, we all know Ares, God of War, and yeah, I would want to use them because again, God of War. Why wouldn't you? But again, if if you're gonna make a whole new personality for him, I don't blame you. I like the personality, but I would just buff him up a bit to be stronger. To actually participate in the fights. I don't think there's one person that he could defeat in the of anyone that's been on the list. So yeah. All right, my next pick is Atlas. I'm cheating a bit because Atlas is technically not a god; he's a titan. But the way I figured this is, dude, hey, they'd be like, hey, Atlas, you mind helping us win? And if you do, we'll grant you your freedom, so you're not lifting the earth anymore. And I know he's not really lifting the earth; he's actually holding up the sky and everything above it. That's what he's doing, which is the weight of the world. That's why they depict the world over him, but he's not really lifting the world; it's the sky itself. The reason I put that in because it'd be cool to have a Titan in there. I was thinking of Kronos, but then I thought to myself, well, freaking Kronos got a time. I mean, yeah. And plus, I think Atlas just seems to be more. Again, Kronos does seem more busted, but Atlas seems to be more powerful, and I think it'd be interesting to see him actually fight a human. I think that'd be cool. And again, I remember Titans in actual mythology, they weren't like these massive creatures that we see in media, like in God of War and stuff. They were more like I guess like more giants. I guess you could say like more of like around that area. They weren't massive. So I think it'd be cool to see a Titan come in and fight. And again, I'm cheating a bit because he's not a god, but I think why not have a Titan in there, right? I do have another non-god in this list. Again, forgive me for that. That will appear as the last one. All right. Okay, next is Hephaestus. Hephaestus is an interesting one, because well, obviously he's an inventor and a creator. He actually invented the robot Talos, which would be cool. And that made me think, okay, he was very disliked by his mother. His mother actually, Hera, actually threw him out of Olympus because he was deformed looking, and he became an inventor and everything, and he eventually made his way up to becoming one of the 13 Olympians. And I think that'd be so cool to see him, being kind of like the Nikola Tesla, where he has an inventions where he suits up to go fight. Not similar to Tesla, but more like I guess more not I don't want to say crude, but more old school looking, but while being super effective. Like again, his legs, I believe, is what was really crippling him. And so you have like the machine and everything helping him out fighting and everything. I just think that'd be so cool to have the aesthetic where a god is using machinery to help him fight. And I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, next is I am so sorry if I cannot pronounce his name. Zagreus. He is the son of Hades, or in other interpretations, the son of Zeus. But I'm going for the interpretation that he's the son of Ares. Why? Because I like Ares. Son of Hades. I'm so sorry. He's the son of Hades, and I like Hades. As you can see my channel name, I like Hades a lot, and it'd be so cool to see the son of Hades coming in, participating in this fight, trying to make a name for himself. And yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. Again, there's not too much about him. I know there's a game about him. Never played it, but yeah, his name translates to a hunter who catches animals alive. So very unique talent, I gotta say, because it's easy to kill animals and capture one alive, and you have a name specifically made for that. It's like, okay, but what if you let him loose and try to kill, a human? That'd be pretty interesting. I could see him trying to make a name for himself, because again, being the son of Hades, Hades' name just completely overclips you. Even his realm named Hades overclips him. So he wants to make a name for himself, go out there and fight, and do what he can. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't think that's pretty cool, but this is just a list of ideas. I think that's just pretty cool. Oh, also, before we continue, if there's any god that's not listed in Ragnarok in the roster of Ragnarok or in the spin-off, let me know which god you'd like to see fight. I'd be curious to hear any gods that I don't list that you think that'd be a cool god to see fight in Ragnarok. Just let me know, all right? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. All right, let's continue. All right, from the Norse tier, why God of War? He is the God of War for the Norse gods, and just being one of the top tier gods that are going to fight in Ragnarok, literally in the story of Ragnarok and in this story. It'd be cool to see Tyr being on his mask, this really powerful and respected warrior, coming out and fights. And of course, we got another Norse god here. All right, Balder. Okay, Balder. He's a very, very interesting one. Let me just tell you what he is, the god of light and radiance, joy and purity, peace and forgiveness. So interesting. He'd be very similar to like the version of Hercules in this version, where he wants to go out. He likes the humans, but he has to do this for the gods to represent them. But he does like the humans. Like, there's no grudge against them whatsoever. And also the fact that one of Baldur's big things is he's like practically nearly immortal to like all damage. So I think it'd be interesting, like the one, like again, mistletoe is one of the things that could hurt him, and also I believe that humans would be able to affect them too. So that'd be interesting turn of events where nothing could really hurt him except the human. And mistletoe, I don't know if you could incorporate that. You could with the Volding. I almost called it Vold standing from Bleach. My bad. But yeah, I think that'd be interesting to have like a Baldur, like being this guy that people think he has invincible, but when his mother, I think Frigg, I believe, forgive me if I'm wrong, had everything, make a promise that they'll never hurt her son. And the only reason she really didn't incorporate, I believe, yeah, the mistletoe is just for the sheer fact that I think just slipped her mind. I think she got literally everything else except mistletoe. And Loki, of course, had I believe his brother, Balder's brother, mistakenly, tricked him into throwing mistletoe and killing Balder. So yeah, messed up. Of course, Loki's causing some trouble in Norse. But yeah, crazy, but I like it. All right, next, all right, crazy one, but hear me out. Heimdall. Why? Because in the Norse mythology, Heimdall announces when Ragnarok happens. It's very similar to how he's like the announcer in the official series. And I just think that him participating in Ragnarok would be so what's the word, like appropriate. Participating in the fight that he announces is going to happen, and be cool to see Heimdall go out and fight. I think it'd be actually pretty cool if he was the first fighter. Now that I think about it, to fight in this tournament, that'd be pretty sweet. I gotta say, it'd be pretty cool and pretty sweet. And he's also a very well known and very good fighter. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, next is I am so sorry. I know I'm not gonna pronounce his name incorrectly, but it's gonna be the South American god Huitzilopochtli. Again, I am so sorry. I know I pronounced that wrong. My apologies. But yeah, I picked this god just for the sheer fact to match him up against Cortez. Just for the sheer fact that this god is the god of the sun and sacrifices. And the fact that Cortez came in and just stopped it all would get this god very angry, and he'd be very furious that he's not even relevant, amongst the top tier gods anymore because of what Cortez did. He fell from grace compared to what the other gods are from Greek, Norse, and Egypt, stuff like that. I think that he would have a very huge grudge. And whenever he hears Cortez is coming up next, he'd be the one to be like, all right, I'm going in, I'm going to fight this human, I'm going to make him pay for everything he's done to me. A bit of a selfish because he's having humans being sacrificed for him. But again, this is just his I think his personality would be compared to Cortez. That Cortez he killed a lot of people. And granted, he was by an accident from a cold, but yeah, again, regardless, a lot of people died. All right, next up is from Egypt, Horus. Horus, well, Anubis and Ra were taken, which obviously would have been my two picks. Then when the Apocalypse series came out and I saw Ra was there, I was like, yes, we're seeing Ra. And then when I created my list, I was like, oh, okay, I can't use Ra now. But yeah, Ra is a very one of the very first pharaohs of Egypt, a very prolific figure in there, as he is the god of kingship, healing, protection, the sun, and the sky. So a very big deal when it comes to Horus. And again, it'd be very cool to see the Egyptian god like this, such a prolific figure coming out and fighting. And yes, I'd want to keep the bird head. I think the bird head would look really cool. Again, but if they go with if someone with a human like head, I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but it'd be cool. All right, next is good old Osiris. Osiris is the good king of the commands respect amongst the earth and the gods who dwell within the netherworld, as he is the god of fertility, agriculture, and afterlife, and the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation. So yeah, Osiris is like probably like the biggest deal aside from Ra in Greek mythology, Egypt mythology. I'm so sorry, and I picked him because I actually do remember him from way back in the day when I was looking up Greek Egypt mythologies. I'm so sorry, and I just remember reading about him. I was thinking, oh, that's pretty neat. And also, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of remember him from Gods of Egypt. Not a good movie. Fun to watch, but not a good movie. But I think, yeah, him as just a higher scale god, one of the chief gods, coming in fighting against the humans, I think would be very cool. And again, another good god that'd come out and fight, as he is the ruler of the netherworld. Something I think we could, see fighting something very similar to Hades. I would say because Hades in the Ragnarok seems to be a pretty chill guy, and in actual mythology, he wasn't all that bad. "Quote unquote," wasn't all that bad. Like he wasn't as bad as the others. Let's just say that. But yeah, I think Osiris would be so cool to come in and fight. All right, next from Japan, Izanagi. I need an Izanagi. All right, a few of my other picks already picking from the Apocalypse, so I had to go with my third choice, Izanagi. But Izanagi, when I read up a bit more about him, he actually turned out to be pretty dang cool. And it's cool that he's paired up with his sister a lot. But of course, in this tournament, he won't have his sister, but she'll be in the sidelines cheering for him. And it's cool that that them two actually make up like a pretty good system here. But him alone, he is the he who invents, the creator deity, kami of both creation and life in Japanese mythology, one of the gods that helped create the lands, the archipelago that makes up Japan, and a pretty skilled fighter. So again, Izanagi would be very cool to have participate in this fight. And all right, next is Raijin, is another Egyptian god. Now I'm thinking Egyptian. Japanese god. He's just this demonic looking creature that has these drums around him that have the Tomo symbols on them that he uses to control lightning. Very similar to Eneru from One Piece, or that demon upper level 4 that has the drums around him. Very similar to those creatures, where he's just like a beast, an evil monster. And again, that'd be very similar to Atlas. Well, this guy is more like, yeah, just let me at him, let me at him. I just want to kill these humans. I just want to strike them down. I think that'd be very interesting, having a much more feral monster on the god side that's willing to just go in and just rip a human apart. I think that'd be very interesting for sure. All right, one from India, Vishnu. All right, Vishnu is again. I do like Vishnu. I like his design in Ragnarok, but here, I'm not gonna lie. When Indra was taken, I was like, well, yeah, Vishnu's my next choice. Yeah, so Vishnu, the god of preservation and great manager of often, who appears in various reincarnations, avatara, that provides salvation of humanity. So another god that would be very, invested in humans. But unfortunately, Ragnarok's happening, and he's got to go back up to humans. Now, would he be like the Buddha-like character in the story in this version? I don't think so, but I think he would definitely be like, he'd feel bad for doing this, but again, it's a job of his. And after it's all said and done, he could probably be even more further over that. If he does attain victory, he'd be like, all right, Zeus, maybe the humans, they deserve another 999 years, Maybe we don't have to kill him after kill him. I think Vishnu would be a pretty cool addition to this. All right, next, and my last one here from Christianity, the Bible, Lucifer, bearer of light, or morning star. Okay. Reason is because in this and here, I think they would have him fight for them because again, Lucifer is not a god; he's a fallen angel. But I do think they would have him fight just for the sheer fact to have him, not as a punishment, as something for the gods to have. Like, all right, Lucifer, go fight the humans, so that way you'll be out of hell for the meantime, and you just go kill a human, win around for us. And I think Lucifer would do it, and then him interacting with the humans that he wanted to. Like if you're familiar with Lucifer in the Bible, where he wanted to essentially just wanted to be the real person to bring salvation to humanity by taking away their free will, so they're guaranteed to go to heaven. That went against went against God's plan, like giving humanity free choice to either on their own to make their free will to go to heaven or hell. And after that, the pride of Lucifer was like, okay, yeah, this is not going to go well. I'm just going to start a rebellion. Obviously failed. Was sent down to hell. Hell is essentially first prisoner. He's not the ruler of hell. He's the first prisoner of hell. And yeah, after that, he comes and fights a human. And he realizes that humans, they're all right. He still got to kill them, but they're all right. Maybe he was wrong. He's not going to admit it. He'll never admit it. But he's like, yeah, the humans. I see what they were doing. I see what God wanted for them, and you know what? Not bad. And he has to fight it. If he wins or lose, that just comes down to the writing at that point. But yeah, that's my list of gods that I would like to see fight in Ragnarok. And yeah, let me know again what you guys think of it, and also name one god you like to see fight in Ragnarok that's not participating in the canon story or spinoff. So let me know what you guys think of that, and you guys have a great